I chose this one because after beating this guy, he switched to my main Zelda, and we dittoed, and he beat me, and I could not play good after that. It just like fucked me up bad.
Okay, so you like tilted because he just like beat you in the ditto.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Does that usually happen to you? Like if someone beats you using your character, you get frustrated?
Well, like if this were to happen in person, not really. If anything, it would just make me want to beat them even more. But on net play, it's extremely tilting.
Uh-huh. Why is that?
I don't know. We were discussing this before, and people said that it's because having another person next to you like grounds your emotions.
Yeah,
And
I agree with that.
yeah,
I definitely agree with that, but that doesn't necessarily mean like that you can't like learn to also try to be more grounded when you can't see the person. Though I
yeah.
obviously understand like and empathize where it would be frustrating.
Oh, and this was the second person in a row to ditto me. So that was
I mean, that's just how
I
it
don't.
is. Do you
This
not
was
like
a
the ditto? I mean,
no
that's like a
actually.
trick question. Nobody likes the ditto except for Luigi players. Luigi players love the Luigi ditto. Everyone else hates the ditto, regardless of what character they play.
Yeah, that's
So that's pretty real. But like, I mean, I guess the weird. I guess like what I'm really trying to ask you is like why have you thought about like why that's frustrating for you? Is it just like, oh, I hate playing this matchup, or do you think there's like something more to it, or do you have any
I
ideas?
mean, well, when I ditto other people when I ditto people that main the same character,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't get mad about it. But like this was in tournament after game one, the dude switches to Zelda, but the same thing happened to me last set. So it's ridiculous. By the way, these there were like 4 or 5 people all sitting in the same room. They were using the same setup, but they were different people. And I'm like, are these dudes passing the controller back and forth or something? Like that's really what it felt like.
I mean,
So that just added on to it.
they could be, but it's like also not necessarily something that you can like afford to think about, right? Because like if you think about that kind of stuff, it only gets more frustrating, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, like something you might want to look into is like seeing how like trying to figure out a way for you to like not think about like what your opponent is thinking or like what they're doing. Because like it's definitely harder online, right? Like that's part of the problem where it's online, where we're talking about like, oh, being able to rein in your emotions because whenever the person's next to you, because you can literally just like if like the person you're playing is literally right next to you and they're just like super chill, then you can like clearly see that and just be like, oh, like the vibe's not like they're not being a dick. They don't think like, oh, like I'm so much cooler than you or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're just chilling. But like online, you're pretty much free to assume like the worst about whoever you want, right? So I don't know about you, but that's pretty much like my level one instinct pretty much goes there. If like I don't like see that person, I'm just like, oh, like you think you're so cool or whatever. But it doesn't have to be like that.
How? I'm
Yeah.
so mad.
And I don't know. You could just like, if you wanted to, you could like try to like train yourself to reframe the way you think about that kind of stuff. And it's also like it could be frustrating because like, oh, you feel like you aren't supposed to lose the ditto to someone who doesn't main that character, like it's kind of disrespectful. But like, if it's a matchup that you aren't comfortable with, and losing the ditto doesn't mean that they're like better at that character than you.
Yeah.
Do you understand like do you understand that and like why that makes sense or why that's
Yeah.
yeah, because it just means that like I mean first off standard disclaimer, like anybody can win one set of melee or P plus, anybody can win one set. It could just that shit just happens, but it's more about like just because you're better at the ditto or like doing your thing in the ditto the other person is, it doesn't mean you're better than that person.
Mm.
So yeah, do you have any other thoughts in that set or like anything I should look out for specifically, or do you want to just jump in?
Um, I know that I roll a lot,
Mm-hmm.
so please don't bash me for that too hard.
Okay, sure.
That's all.
Okay, so let's just talk about the roles real quick then. So I mean, I don't know, we're just getting the bashing out of the way. Right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
So why do you roll? And I guess that's the first question. And the second question is like, is it something that you're like actively looking to change right now, or is it something that you're just like, I'll worry about it later? I'm not gonna like judge you either way. I'm just curious.
No, I am trying to change. This happened like so in the past I realized that it was a problem and I fixed it and I stopped my like bad habit of rolling. But since I started playing again, it's like it's really hard to fix it again. And also I've kind of sort of convinced myself to use it as like a conditioning thing. That way people expect me to roll a lot.
Uh-huh.
But most of the time they don't go for reads like I want them to. They just react to my roll
Yeah,
or
that
my
makes
lack of roll.
yeah, that makes sense.
I overthink.
I do agree. Like, okay, I think I think the idea of like I'm going to condition them into thinking I'm a roller is like I think that's like pretty silly. You know, like I think instead of like trying to be all like I guess like very like astrological and very hopeful because that's like a very like optimistic thing to try to like get on somebody, right? That's just like,
Yeah.
man, I sure hope they notice my role habit. You could just like try to do the good thing in each scenario, right? And that might end up working out a lot better, right?
Mm-hmm.
As for the other thing, I guess I want to ask you, like, how did you break your role habit before then? Because you said you did break it before.
By just like playing a lot. I spent like many hours a day playing this game in the past.
Okay. So have you given any thought to how you're going to fix it now? Are you planning to just like you're just gonna like brute force it again, or do you have like a different idea?
I I don't know. I'm just trying to grind it out and recognize when I do it, but it's kind of rough sometimes.
Okay. Well, what I would do, what I'll suggest is like, you said you're playing Zelda, right?
Yes.
What are Zelda's other good out of shield options?
Probably Nair, um, up tilt or
Out of shield? I don't think you
yeah.
can up tilt out of shield, right? You'd have to wave dash first.
I mean, it's not instant, but if you wait long enough, yes.
I mean, you're dropping your shield's going to be even slower than wave dashing.
Yeah. Okay.
Data works the same way.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, pretty much Nair. Maybe like
Okay, yeah, let's just stick with Nair or wave dash, okay?
or neutral B. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what I'll suggest is out of shield, instead of rolling, every time you would roll, just try to do a nair or a wave dash instead.
Mm.
That way, I think that will be more efficient than just trying to like grind it out. Because in my experience, trying to break a habit by telling yourself not to do something is one of the most difficult things in the world to do.
Mm.
And I'm sure your experience has been similar, where it's like, okay, don't roll. God damn it, I rolled, right?
Yep.
But if you say like, I'm going to nair out of shield, then not only do you avoid feeling bad because you did the thing you didn't want to do, but you feel good about doing the thing you planned on doing. But also, like, it will help on replacing the habits. It's not so much about breaking bad habits, so much as it is about replacing bad habits with good ones. So what you really want to do is just next time you're playing games, really actively focus on, instead of rolling, just be like, I'm going to nair out of shield instead.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That being said, we can just jump into this. Okay, someone just told me Zelda's up smash out of shield is also very good.
Uh-huh.
So you can go for that. Okay. Okay, so wait, do you want to talk about the Bowser games, or do you want to just talk about the Dittos?
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Okay, we'll just watch it through then.
I did win this match, but
that doesn't matter. You can still obviously learn things. Okay. Let's see. So I'm probably just gonna like watch a little bit through first to get an idea of what's going on, and then because I don't want to like point out things that aren't important.
I can't process anything without a sword. Jeff, have I told you about this? I literally cannot process anything in video games without a sword. It's like, honestly, at this point, I probably would switch to Falco, but like, he doesn't have a sword. I can't deal with that.
In a way, a gun is a sword.
What, lasers?
Yeah.
It's just not a sword. Or Garrett?
Yeah.
Cool. Is rewatching some of it recently in preparation for season 3, which got delayed.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's.
So I don't know about you.
I have a decent idea of some things.
Anime anymore.
Okay. So.
But I was going to actually bother watching season 3 all the way through. Because, sorry, Gary. I enjoyed seasons 1 and 2. And coronavirus.
Yeah, I think that's fine. So this is something that you do a lot. It seems that you actually feel like you seem to rely on this a lot, where you just like side B, and you up B after it. Like I guess your up B has a hitbox in this game and has very little landing lag. So you like try to like set them up this way, and like right here it works wonderfully. I don't have a problem first time. I think you also kind of bungled this tech chase. Like, since he's tech rolling into the corner, it seems that you could probably get a real tech chase on him. Like, look right here. But perhaps you need to work on your tech chasing here, because you definitely just like up smash right here, even though he was tech rolling left. This is definitely a tech that you could have covered with dash grab, or you probably could have dash attacked it. Maybe dash grab is the best, but you went with up smash instead. So it wasn't like reactive play. You just made a read in a situation where you definitely could have reacted.
And I actually...
Yeah, so you see this is something really similar, where, okay, so you back air him right here, or forward air, and then he's over here, you do the side B, I like that. But then, so like, if I were playing right here, I would probably dash forward. And try to cover options, because okay, so this side B is going to cover him if he tries to double jump on stage dash forward. If he goes low and goes to the ledge here, which is what I think he's likely to do, then I want to be in place like probably. Can you see my mouse?
No.
Okay, it's the same as last time. I don't know how to make you see my mouse. I would probably
you have to share your screen, not stream your Chrome.
Where's my
Uh.
screen? Where's my video? Share your screen. It's not. I don't understand. Can you
whenever you go to share your screen, it's like the second tab at the top. It says screens.
Got it. Very useful. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, you do like this side B, but like, it catches him like, if you like were to land here and then go forward, or like even jump here. But I think he's most likely to go for ledge here. So I would probably want to like try to get over here, so I could cover like his other ledge options. And also it's less committal, because if you use your up B from here, well, your up B only goes so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can totally up B, you can go up B like within your range, but like say your max up B range is over here, which it may or may not be, I don't know. But you up B like right here. If you start up B, then it's just like, okay, the furthest you could possibly be is right here. Whereas if you went forward a little bit first, then suddenly you have a lot more presence in the places where he could be that you could threaten to up B to. So you just like kind of like up being here is kind of pointless here.
I've always hated the bosses trying to grab large on the same way.
Yeah, and this is another thing. Like, look how you do the side B and then up B again. So it's like you put out the side, that was fine, and you put out the side B here. I think this is fine. This is a completely reasonable zoning technique. But like, whenever you do your up B, like, look where he is. You're about to up B right here, but he's all the way over here. There's no way this up B is ever going to hit him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like, even if you up B here, and then you like land, and then you like, I don't know what you do, you like forward tilt, you dash attack, it's probably nothing doing. Like, he's so far away that doesn't have a chance of hitting. So it's like very committal, and it's very autopilot. It seems that you have like socials like, okay, I do side B and then I up B. But you probably could have still approached using the side B to cover yourself by like just dashing or like jumping in or something. And then, I think you aren't paying attention again a little more. This is why I hate Twitch VODs. Rewinding them is so bad.
Yeah.
So you took this, and then he backed off over here. So, I don't know the answer to this question, so you tell me. But it looks like, so Bowser's like fastest approach options here probably he can like fair at you, which would probably get like right here, probably. Or he could dash attack, which might get like right here. Or like, I don't know. Dash attack's probably about the same range as him doing like run, cancel, down tilt or something. It probably ends about right here. So like, so really, if you're just right here, then you can whiff punish him for anything he does because he's all the way over here. You want to have like the maximum amount of space available to you, so you can like, you know, all characters are usually just worse in the corner, so you put him in the corner and you can aggressively stuff him where you have more room to dash back. But you kind of just like move backwards and just let him have all of this, and then he just double jumps into you and hits you with a fair. But it didn't have to be this way because oh my god, Twitch, please. Because, yeah, if you had been, like, right here, and he had double jumped at you, you probably could have just, like, jumped up it on reaction, up aired him.
Mm-hmm.
That's so funny. I don't know, like, he just, like, got hit, let himself get hit and fell into it.
You mean it, or
I don't know, like, people always fall into it. It's so dumb.
Yeah. So, like, right here, I don't know what your idea was with this recovery. Can you walk me through, like, the thought process here?
I guess I saw him jump, and I was expecting him to try to cover high, so I tried to go low, and then he down B'd.
Okay, sure.
Maybe I just misread him.
Okay, so you say this, but so like look where you actually like jumped at. So like sure, you're like low over here. I guess maybe you think you meant over here. But look, like you double jumped all the way up here.
Didn't even jump.
Yeah, like you double jumped so up here, so far up here, and he also used down B to get up instead. So like, whereas you would have probably been fine if you just went like actually low and grabbed the ledge here with the double jump, right? But you double jumped so high that you made yourself available to hit. Now, another weakness I saw was I want you to watch your recovery again and notice how you drift during your recovery, and just tell me what you're doing on your drift.
Was I going back and forth?
Yeah, you were just holding straight in, right?
Mhm.
So if you're like really concerned about him going high and coming out to get you, then you could like hold back a little, especially as Zelda because your up B goes pretty far, right? So you actually have a lot of different options for yourself to recover with, but you just like held straight in instead of like kind of playing around the spots where he could hit you. All of this ended up happening because you held straight in, and then you were just like, oh shit, I need to jump here, and then you got punished for jumping. But if you were willing to hang back a bit and then try to react a little bit more on your recovery, as long as you can still up B to the ledge, you're probably fine. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, here we go again, right? You decide to be into up B every time. For that. Yeah, he punished you this time. Yeah, this time he just read it, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely something for you to look out for. I don't know your other approach options. There it is again. And this time it works, but it's like, I mean, you don't even get that much. But it's just like you're going to really want to explore some more some more approach options. There it is again. By the way, this fireball hits you because, again, you get hit off stage and you just hold straight in. Really be careful about how you're doing your drift whenever you get hit. You want to make it as hard as possible for them to get the next hit. And a lot of times holding in just makes it easiest. There you were trying to up B to your side B again.
Right. I was trying to up B to his platform.
Okay. But yeah, it seems like you just have like this one tool to approach with the neutral, and you don't really have an idea of how else you want to do it. Whoops, I went the wrong direction here. There's something new. I don't really see why you would need to roll here.
Yeah.
So, I guess, yeah, this is something, so this isn't my term. I stole it from Drug Fox. So Drug Fox uses this term called looking at the screen, which people, everyone included, are very, very bad at. And I'll show you you display a really good example of what that means. So, oh, I accidentally skipped right past it. Oh. I'll find it. Okay. So you dash attack. Okay? You dash attack here, it whiffs, and he's dashing back. And then he jumps. And what do? You shield, and you roll. I think if you were paying attention to the screen, then you would see that he's like dash jumping away. And yeah, he's doing like a turnaround neutral B at you. But I think if you were like seeing him dash and jump away, you would see, oh, there's no way he can like come forward and hit me because he's jumping in the opposite direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were looking at the screen, then you would see clearly there's no way he's going to be able to jump in and hit you with fair. So there's no reason for you to be rolling at this point. Here, it would be more appropriate for you to he's jumping away. You could probably run him down, honestly. But I think what happened for you was you just had some sort of instinct and you kind of freaked out and you weren't looking at the screen. And you said, oh my god, I missed my dash attack. I have to get out of here. I'm rolling. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much.
So that's something you definitely really want to look for. And especially because your dash attack takes a really long time. So it's not like you could do anything else while you're dash attacking, right? You're stuck in this animation where you're pushing. So while you're dash attacking, you may as well look at them to check their position, check what they're doing, and see if they even have a possibility of hitting you for it. And if they don't, then you don't need to roll. Yeah, he tried to punish you for it. You got your up smash out in time. But again, you're just like kind of approaching the same thing. Nice. So like you see how you approached with something other than up B and then it worked? That was sick. Yeah, you just
and
dash
it
attacked
worked.
him. Yeah, I mean it's good, right?
Yeah.
You definitely have other options. It's able if you just walk up.
Oh my god.
Nice. That was much better. That was much better than what you did last time. Remember the last edge guard we were talking about, where you put the side B out and you just up B towards it. Look where you put the side B, and then you come towards him, and then you cover, his other options, or you do something that works well with what you set up, instead of just like, oh, I'm gonna up B because I can.
Oh my god, I have a clip of me doing exactly what I just did, where I put a side B and just up tilt.
That's pretty good. Yes, and this is again what I was talking about earlier. This is a much better play in the second half, where it's like you aren't just like blindly up Bing into it anymore. There, he expects you to up B, and you just up smash him out follow up. The up B, you up being after side B probably shouldn't be automatic. Like you should really be reacting to see what he tries to do to answer it. That's probably what makes like the zoning mechanic so powerful. That you can react to his response. Nice. Alright, cool. Okay, so game and watch. Word?
I don't think he actually picked game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was Zelda. Wow, that was an ugly Zelda skin to pick.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure if you know about Zelda, but she plays much better on small stages. So I always try to get a small stage, and 99% of the time we end up in PS2 anyways.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. A lot of the PM players, like in Louisiana, their favorite stage is actually PS2. Like, that's Magi's favorite stage, and she always strikes there if at all possible.
Mm-hmm. This is why nobody likes Zelda to those, by the way.
Word, we're just designing each other.
Why was I jumping? What was happening? I haven't been here in a while.
It was because I wasn't playing cheap. I didn't want to take to the stage if I was playing cheap.
I mean, you can see what he did here, right? He actually did it like kind of poorly, and he tried it. So he tried it multiple times in stock. This time it finally worked. So he just like waits for you to put out the side B, and then he tries to do anything to like punish you up being after it as a read. So like right there, he tried to punish your up B with a side B, and it didn't work. I think on the next interaction, yeah, you see, he tried to back air you. He saw you had your side B out. He saw you put your side B out right here, and then he read, okay, you're going to up the in, and he tries to back air you for it, or forward air you, and it doesn't work. But the idea was there. And then the third time, okay, you shield, you side B, you go up B into it, and he's instantly going to back air you in the face. Forward air, whatever. And you do it again, and this time you get back air. That was actually back air this time. And then he backs up so that you can't hit him out of your up B.
I can't remember with what, but just saw the fucking animation. I think I'm looking at my characters somewhere.
So then you try to cancel it, and he tried to forward air you for it. Okay, so we're seeing a pattern here, right? And you can clearly see how, like, what I was talking about with your, this is your main approach tool, and this is almost all you ever do, is, like, getting you in trouble in a situation where it doesn't have to happen. Like, I think if you had just like run at him and dash attack after the side B one time, he would have gotten fucking destroyed. Because he's like, look at his play. He just like stands back, right, and he spams forward air and back air, and he just waits for you to up B, and he tries to punish it. If you had dash attacked him into him one time, he would not have been ready. I guarantee you would have wrecked him. There it is again. And then he just tries to punish it.
Oh yeah, right here. I told my friends that I was gonna back throw him.
Got him.
Yeah. Because they were like, stop approaching.
I mean,
and that was good advice.
I think approaching is very good. I think approaching is fine. It's very powerful, even in this matchup where you're playing two zoners. But if you approach the same way every time, of course you're going to get wrecked, right? Yeah. I think the problem wasn't so much that you were approaching; the problem is that you approached the same way.
Game.
Okay, that was a grab, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, looking back at it, I should definitely not have rolled.
Yeah, that's a grab for sure. Another looking at the screen moment. It's fine. Looking at the screen is like, as I said, is like very, very difficult, and it's something you have to teach yourself to do. But of course, it's very rewarding. Like right there, where you rolled. You're actually under no threat right here. How could he possibly ever hit you? Yeah, like he can't possibly hit you. Let's see if I can. Wait, this isn't. Oh, I hate Twitch.
It's right here. Yeah.
I'll find it.
It's right past.
It's right after this interaction. Yes. Right here. He's all the way right here. I mean, unless if he like full YOLOs into you, which he hasn't been doing at all. Keep in mind, he's only been jumping backwards and forward airing the entire match. There's no way this dude could ever hit you. But you roll right here, you know, partially because we're freaking out. And I'm not just talking about a roll habit here. I think it's more important to not note just the habit, but like the things that are caused of the habit. And I think you get into a situation where you're used to being punished and you kind of panic instead of evaluating what your opponent is doing. So you roll right here and you just get forward smashed. That roll was more reasonable. He just read you for it because it's a common roll. Sometimes you do that roll, it's good. Sometimes you do that roll and you get punished for it. You get punished for it, honestly, because it's such a powerful roll, so people like to read it. Whatever, it's fine. It's just, as you know, you can't do it every time. But this would actually be a good time.
That tilt just went through him.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, I don't understand hitboxes or whatever, but like, whatever, it'd be like that. I gotta find this roll I was talking about here. Because I want to see if you had a different option that you could have chosen.
2 seconds of invisibility is so stupid.
Yeah, okay, it's pretty soon after this interaction, I think.
Oh, please. Mercy.
Okay.
No.
Okay, your rolls,
Oh, shit.
spacing,
I don't know how you
side B.
Me neither. I literally blinked. Shit.
Oh well, I'm sure I see everyone.
Oh wow. I didn't mean to go so far back. I wanted
Get
to
a hit.
you.
All right, so this is kind of weird here, right? So you get a hit on your side B finally.
Yes.
I mean, I expect it's not that common to side B hits, but like, instead of following up on the side B, you can clearly react to the side B and see its hit. Like, you could probably try to position yourself to cover her, like, just drifting in lazily, or,
Fuck
like,
you, dude.
her going low. So you could probably get, like, right hereabouts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead, you kind of dash back, which accomplishes nothing, right? It kind of just, like, lets you get the one hit, and that's it. There's no potential for any follow-up. You can see how that would be a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you had just this is kind of funny. If you had just okay, so he does this. Imagine if instead of backing off right here, you just ran up on him. You could have just ran up and dash attacked him. It would have worked. Okay, double jump away. It's a really good short jump. That's yeah, you weren't respecting the space though. Yeah.
It's kind of okay. At this point, I was like visibly shaking because, like I said, I could not like stand the fact that I just beat this guy and now I was losing the Zelda Ditto. Like, it really had me shook and it had me like fucked up bad.
Well, I mean, like I said, it just be like that. You know, like there's not like a whole lot. You basically, I mean, and this is like kind of like a stupid thing to tell you. I'm sure you know this already, but it's like you just can't let that kind of stuff get to you.
Yeah.
Whenever you lose in tournament, like this is like probably like one of the things that is like it's super easy to get tilted. It's like, oh, like I'm frustrated because of like whatever reason, and then like I start to play worse and worse because I'm frustrated, and then I get more frustrated because I'm playing worse, and it's like a whole like negative feedback loop, right? And you just get stuck to it. There's no recovering. So in spots like that, it's just like you really need to be able to take a step back and like take a breath and recompose yourself. There are a lot of ways of going about that, but basically, yeah, that's the gist of it. I totally understand and like have also experienced being frustrated after losing something that I feel that I shouldn't lose. A lot of the frustration comes from whenever reality doesn't really align with what your expectations are. And you know, it makes sense that would be frustrating. There are a lot of ways you can try to deal with that. Like you can say it's like, oh, you can work on not being frustrated at the outcome of games, and whatever else you can, or you could just like you just have to end up. If you lose, you just have to be able to accept it. Really, if it's going to like sit in your soul and then like just like make you play worse and worse, like there's really no coming back from that kind of tilt. It's something that I would definitely suggest you actively look towards trying to fix, and a lot of it can come from like also a place of humility, right? Like you might feel like, oh, I literally just beat this guy. It's like, how am I losing to Zelda? Like I shouldn't, this shouldn't happen to me. But the truth is, of course, I mean, as you experience, like there is no like reason why you should be like entitled to win against the Zelda just because you beat his Bowser game 1.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't like there's no real guarantee here. It's you just have to take each game one at a time, and I think it's like a really difficult issue to get over because I think it's something that everyone has to experience. Everyone experiences on their own, and they kind of also come up with their own answers as well. Like, I think it's like a deeply personal issue for each person, and how they choose to address that is also very personal as a result. But I can tell you that for me, like, losing to Ditto, you should try to make a lot of your focus on the gameplay and not the person you're playing. Like, oh, like they think they're better than me, or they think they're just like Zelda dittoing me because like they can't beat me with the other character, but they're winning or whatever. It's like trying to like, or like thinking, oh, that was so stupid. Here's a good example. We're going to watch through some of this game, and we're going to see what I'm talking about. This will also tie into looking at the screen. I think it will be helpful.
Oh yeah. Also, after that second game, I was gonna play Ganondorf against the Zelda because Ganondorf was like my secondary. And after I picked, because I waited, he didn't switch, so I picked Ganondorf. Then he went back to Bowser, and I was like, "Wait, that's illegal." I was like, "You have to switch first, not me."
Yeah.
Yeah, and then dude was complaining about it, and he's like, you just wanted to play the same matchup or whatever.
Okay, so now you're actually playing Ganondorf Zelda. Alright, whatever. So I guess I'll just talk about the last game a little bit more then. So this is something that's related to like tilting and not looking at screen. So it's like, tell me if this discards you, because in my experience, this discards basically everybody. Sometimes some shit will happen, and then it'll be like, that was so stupid. Like, that shouldn't have happened. Like, it's like ridiculous. It shouldn't have happened that way. And you can feel that way a lot about interactions and whole games in particular. Like, for example, that Zelda Ditto. You might have felt the whole time that this Zelda Ditto is so fucking stupid, and I can't believe I'm losing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, can you tell me, like, after the game, like, what actually happened? Like, literally what happened on the screen. Not like, oh, I got frustrated. Not what happened to you. Like, oh, I got frustrated and I started tilting and playing bad and I made a bunch of bad choices. I'm asking what interactions literally happened on the screen. A lot of times, whenever you start to judge the game like that, where you're like, oh, this is like so fucking dumb, I find that clouds your ability to actually make an objective assessment or observation about the things that actually happen in the game. Like, I'm like basically, not really knowing you at all, 100% sure that after that game, you were probably pretty pissed about the result, and you didn't even realize that he spent the entire game just waiting for you to upbeat and then forward airing you for it.
Yeah, I definitely did not think about that.
So, if you try to put your focus on seeing what happens in the game and trying to notice and remember every single interaction that gets you a hit or, like, gets you hit, then you won't have the time to get tilted. Because you'll be too busy trying to remember the actual things that happen on the screen. And this will be very helpful for analysis too, because you'll have a more concrete idea of what went wrong. Because as we saw from us going over that last game and talking about it, your biggest problems were not the fact that you spammed rolls, which you did spam rolls, but your biggest problem was that you always just like upbeat after your side beat.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made you lose, not whatever you thought made you lose. So it's important to be able to like make an objective observation and be able to identify very clearly what actually went wrong. Because, of course, if you aren't able to look at the screen objectively, then of course it's going to hurt you down the line, because you're going to think you have this whole problem when something else is the bigger problem. And of course it's going to end up frustrating you. So, benefits of looking at the screen really continued. Yeah, so let's jump into this game. I keep forgetting that you are the Ganondorf here. I was watching for the Zelda POV. Alright, word. Almost got him. Oops. Could have gotten the grab there, by the way.
Yeah, so at this point, with like 3 other people in the voice chat that I was in while I was playing, I was like, look at this dude just fucking camping the other side of the stage, or like just the Legend of Invincibility teleporting. I was like, this dude is really trying to piss me off. Like
Yeah.
that's what I was saying, and
I mean, that kind of like goes to what I was talking about, right? You're like just thinking about like your opponent instead of the game, and like how you can actually win the game. I mean, I guarantee you, if you were actually looking at the game instead of like talking shit about this dude and like thinking, oh, he's out to piss me off, you'd probably just grab him. You'd probably just down throw Faramir, and then he would die. He'd be sad. Yeah, I also understand that it can be like, you're in a voice call, so it can be like more frustrating, probably to like, it could be more difficult to be objective whenever you're also just like hanging out with friends and just like shooting the shit. But I mean, either you need to like consider how that could be a thing that you and your friends like practice doing, where you are trying to like actually evaluate and like objectively observe what happens on the screen, or maybe you shouldn't always be in a voice call with them depending on how seriously you're going to take the tournament. And if you decide you're going to be in a voice call and they not take it seriously, then you don't get to be upset about the result, right? Because you're not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
So it's something that you need to decide for yourself. What's not acceptable is for you to be in the voice call and then be upset about it.
I did have one friend who was pretty much coaching me. Although I don't think he was. I don't know. He at some point he like started playing his own game, so he stopped. But
yeah,
that dude likes to point out bad habits that people have while I play.
Okay, well, I mean, whatever, that's fine, I guess.
So, I mean, I know it's kind of unfair, but also these next kids were like 5 people in a room, all playing together. So
snap play, whatever. All right, so I'm gonna give you kind of an example exercise about what's happening on the screen in a few seconds. So starting from right here, the respawn. I want you to watch the next 3 seconds of gameplay, and then I'm gonna pause it, and then you're gonna tell me exactly what happened on the screen during those 3 seconds of gameplay. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, go.
I was on the left platform and he back aired me. I shielded it. Fell through. I did a side B because I saw him jump and I thought he was going to be close, but he ended up going backwards and got a grab.
Okay, so let's look at this. So he's respawning, and you're on the left side platform, and he back airs you. Yes. And then I would say, if I were to describe the situation, I would say he continued to drift backwards while spacing back airs, while I stayed underneath the left side platform. And then he like jumped forward, drifted back, and I side beat. And then he grabbed. So you need to be able to like recreate scenarios in your head at least to that level. Like every scenario, you know, you need to be able to do this in order to like have accurate analysis of games. Because if you can't tell me, what happened in these last 3 seconds, how are you ever going to learn from it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, because he was jumping backwards, like you're actually way too far to side B him. Sure.
How do you
Nice.
killing me, dude? You're killing me.
Or do you want to talk about your Ganondorf? Because it's got like similar thing with your Zelda, right? We're just like, I'm just gonna down B.
I think down B is kind of like busted. Oh yeah, this happened.
Alright. So what do you mean by it's busted?
Well, okay, on net play, I guess our ping was not that bad in this match, but I think like whenever people play on like 8 to 10 buffer, like I'm not gonna say it's very react.
Alright.
It's not
So
nearly
basically you're
as
trying to cheese him.
Yeah, because I mean, okay, he was playing Bowser earlier. This P plus gave Bowser like a really fast fireball,
Yeah,
and that shit is like so fucking hard to react to actually, and it's like the same thing with Ganondorf's down B.
I would suggest for you, if you really care about improvement instead of just like trying to sweat and win games, then you should not try to cheese people based on lag. And I understand that you may choose to make this decision in the moment because you're like tilted or whatever, but your goal should be to learn and to improve and get better, not to just like sweat really hard and try to scum people for wins. And I understand that other people also will be like really sweaty and obnoxious and cheese you for wins, but that does not mean that you should do what they should do. They will stay bad while you learn.
Game 3.
Mm.
Tried to do all the mark cheese.
I mean, like, basically, would you be down being at people like that, or side being at people like from across the stage like this on LAN? Like, maybe sometimes, but like this much?
For down B, yeah, I really do think that it's a good move.
Okay.
Maybe not so much side B.
Yeah, I would say maybe you need to practice a little bit. Once the quarantine stuff goes down, you can like come to locals and stuff.
Yeah.
I think you will get to play against people who are good at reacting to and stuffing down B.
Yeah.
And then you will have the cheese summarily beaten out of you, which will be good for you. You just need to not get frustrated about it, which is the hard part, to be fair.
But I mean, I don't like overuse it.
I mean, it looks pretty overused here.
As soon as I said that, I did it. Oh my god.
Right? I mean, you're just like kind of doing it from across the stage. And he's just shielding. Like, because you just downbeat and you dash attacked a bunch. It's just like, hey, if you just ran up and grabbed him or like spaced the forward air a single time, it would have been really good. So, yeah. That's about it for this VOD. I would say, to recap...
It's a 3 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
Every single match in this tournament was 3 out of 5. Every single set.
That's
Mexican.
exciting.
Yeah, Mexicans are kind of odd.
Alright, so we're back to Zelda Bowser. New Orleans, they always do 3 out of 5 too.
Is it fair?
And you also have to consider, like, I mean, how dare you get tilted, right? Like, you basically, I mean, Zelda. First off, you play Zelda, so you understand Zelda's just a character that kind of has to camp, right?
Yes.
So you also like camp as Bowser because Bowser also has like stupid annoying gimmicks like armor. So it's like, oh well, I have to camp you, but you really shouldn't get frustrated when he camps you back. This was another one of those rolls where you were just like dash tagging and they were like, oh, missed, I gotta get out of here. Watch it again. Roll, roll. Even though he's like way up here, right? We'll watch it one more time. So you dash attack and then you roll right and then you're like, oh shit, and then you roll left. But he's way up here. Like he's over here. This dude, he's running off to the right. This dude is never ever in the world hitting you. If you were watching the screen, then you would notice that and not have felt the need to roll. Yeah, he was waiting for you to roll there too. Now the rolls are getting you in trouble. Nice, alright, he read you. Okay, he read you multiple times. He read you doing the up B in, and then he read you just holding straight in. Those are two things we talked about before. Again, with the same approach. Yeah, helps go in here. Oh, I see you getting frustrated in the player cam. Alright, word.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. I mean I think based on the first 3 games, you probably like got enough to like really start looking at and trying to work on for a bit. So yeah, just focus on those things and yeah, don't be afraid to DM me on Discord, ask me any questions if you have any. Hopefully this was helpful for you, and I think the most important thing for you to work on is like changing up, like learning how to mix up the way learning how to mix up the way you approach. 2, like what we talked about at the beginning, where it's like, oh, practice doing anything out of shield other than roll. Yeah, practice on like whenever you notice that you have a habit, first off, only try to fix one bad habit at a time. Because if you try to fix too many things at once, that's when everything goes to shit. You can't fix everything at once. You have to be patient. You have to be willing to get worse so you can get better. And you have to work on fixing one thing at a time and really ironing it out. But whenever you notice you have a habit like rolling or like always up being after your side B, work on fixing that by looking up a reasonable alternative. There are tons of VODs of Zelda players out there, I'm sure. Just look those things up. Look what the good Zelda players do after they put out a side B. Steal those and practice doing those instead of always doing the up B. Okay. Cool. Hopefully it was pretty helpful. Do you have any other questions for me?
Not really. I think I don't like I said, I would never get like upset, or I would have never quit out of that like last match right there if this was in person. I would never actually like get this tilted. It's just I just don't know how to handle it on net play, I guess. And you're probably right about the whole voice chat thing. I probably should not have been in a voice chat with people if I was trying to take it serious.
Yeah.
And the fact that I was losing in front of people who know me probably made it worse.
Yeah, it makes it a lot worse, right? Like, I feel embarrassment whenever I feel like it's no pressure, like, oh, I have to, like, win to, like, prove something to myself or to my friends, right? So I definitely understand where you're coming from. So you just have to like, I don't know, each tournament, especially if it's net play, just like decide what you're trying to get done, decide what your priorities are, and like do your setup based on what you decide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Well, it's been about an hour, so I'm gonna call it. If you think of any other questions, by the way, like I'm not judging you for like getting tilted or anything. You know, I don't want you to get a wrong idea. I'm not like, oh, this guy, he got so mad. Haha, what a dummy. I'm just like trying to help you out. So you know, I don't personally care if you got tilted or not. I just want you to recognize that, you know, if it's a problem for you, then it's something that you can fix. But yeah, like I was saying, if you have any other questions that you think of, don't be afraid to DM me on Discord, and I will do my best to answer them.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
War.